What's going on, everybody? We are back, episode number 33 of the Club and Sub podcast. Tonight, you have little bit of different crew. Lags and Luke are both out. Lags has family in town. Luke has apparently food poisoning. It's not COVID, fortunately. So me and C are going to be holding it down. As usual, if you guys like the podcast, just do us a favor, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. That would be a huge help to us. And per usual, I am wearing the Square hat from squaresandsharps.com. Check it out. They give 1% of all props to charity. Great group, squaresandsharps.com. We're also going to be joined with Gugabe. He is in a meeting for work right now. He should be getting in 10 or 15 minutes. So we're going to do this a little differently this week. We're going to recap last week. Then we're going to start at the beginning. Then when Gugabe gets here, because he has a limited time, we're going to go through the main card. And then we'll clean up whatever we don't get to from the beginning. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, going to be up and down. But let's jump into last week. How'd you do last week, C?
Outside of Moreno, I don't remember who all fought.
Oliveira Ferguson?
Oh, yeah. Chandaroba, she definitely could have taken the Dobrot's game plan. What Charles did to Tony is honestly what I thought Chandaroba was going to do to Dern. So that was super weird. I was kind of salty about that. Like right before, I was like, "Fuck, dude, I should just probably play like goes to decision." Like this Chandaroba's like win condition, and and I said like it wasn't going to shock me if Dern just wins on like volume and dumb shit on the feet, which she did. So yeah, fuck that.
Dude, that fight was so frustrating. Like, if she just went into her guard with 2 minutes left or didn't pull guard, she probably wins the fight. Like, almost certainly. Like,
yeah. Honestly, the thing that frustrated me the most was that at the end of round 2, like, I get it to start the fight. Okay, maybe she is afraid of the guard, but then she's got maybe 115 seconds, 110 seconds in Dern's guard to end round 2. So it's like, okay, you're fine. And then
never close to anything.
Right. And then round 3 hits and you have an opportunity to be on top and you just fucking let Dern up with 2 minutes. Like if she ends the round on top, she's gonna win the round.
Yeah.
It was 29-28 all 3 ways. So she's definitely winning the round with 2 minutes of top control.
She's probably winning the round if she doesn't try to roll for an omoplata with a minute left. Like I thought she was ahead on the round with a minute left. It was
stupid. Yeah. And then Jacare, rest in peace, that guy. He just cut. Honestly, I can't really complain because it was whatever, round 1 plus 1100 I had, and the sub was plus 700. So it's dude, if Jacare goes out there and he attempts takedowns and he gets Holland down, the opportunity is going to present itself. Who fucking, he went out there and he understood he needed to take Holland down, and then whatever, he just went full retard.
Yeah, it was a frustrating week for me, to be honest. I lost 2.2 units, and I felt like my reads were as right as they've been in months.
Oh, and then the Torres fight. I fucking thought that happened. Fuck.
We're just gonna ignore it. So here's my question for you. Was the 1.5 right? Because obviously it wasn't. But should that have been more 2.5 even, given the skill disparity between them?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it looked ugly.
Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, the first 2 minutes, I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Thank God, FanDuel was "No, you can't bet anymore." I was like, "Fuck!" I would have just put it all out there. I was thinking of all the way. Honestly, when I got lucky because if the Spivak fight would have been canceled, when that line was out, the way that you get around fucking FanDuel is just parlaying shit, and I would have just parlayed that, knowing the fight was canceled, and they would have had to take the bet. And they have no limits on the parlays.
That was really, I mean, honestly, that was so. I'm not even angry about it because I'd probably make the bet again. It's just.
It's fucking even money on a fucking WMMA fight at 1.5. Versus.
I also think she just quit. She realized she had no business being in there. It was just
yeah. The skill difference was huge. Who do you think has less brain cells right now? Jacare after that fight, or everybody in the Discord who doesn't believe in math and stats?
Yeah, it was amazing. People were just like torching everybody who bet the over 1.5. I was like, I'm like, you would 100% have bet the over 1.5 if you had access to it. Like
No.
anybody with a brain.
Who do you think has less brain cells currently?
See?
Jacare or the people in the Discord who think math and stats aren't real? Just curious. Who do you think has less brain
Oh
cells?
yeah.
Just
I'm a
everybody
nice guy.
watching on this. I just want to take time out of my day because there's people in here who believe that statistics are not a real thing and metrics are not a real good gauge of MMA, which is very false. And my best example of this is, I'm not going to say names, but Hermansson's going to beat fucking Vittori's ass. He's going to outbox him. What do you know? Vittori has 64% striking defense versus Hermansson. What was his striking defense? 66%. Didn't take a whole lot to fucking come to that conclusion. Oh, Hermansson's got strong top control. Whoa, what do you know? Vittori's a fucking great defensive grappler. Didn't I don't know. Stats didn't tell me that.
No, I mean stats are important. I mean, honestly, people who downplay stats don't really understand how to use them correctly, to be honest. But
I'm not saying that like you just base everything off them. Although there's pretty like when there's a large sample size, it's pretty easy to come to conclusions using metrics.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the bigger thing is sample size, to be honest. But yeah, let's move on. Like I said, this has been honestly like the last 3 months. It's like we had that big run during the summer, and like for whatever reason, I got way too confident in like calling dogs. And like I don't think I've necessarily been throwing darts, but like playing dogs, like going big, you need to know something. And it's like I was on the money this week pretty much with my reads. Like I played Tucker plus 140. I played Oliveira plus 148. I played Swanson plus 140. And I had Moreno, which, you know, I don't know if there was value or not, but it was a push. And yet I lost money because I went 3 units on fucking Moicano and Jandaroba. It's just like I've gotten killed the last 3 months just really dicking sizing, and it's something I really need to clean up. But yeah,
I've been sizing larger on dogs. I'm kind of like at the point where I don't know. Some have like emotional ties, like Matt Wyman. I guess I had some emotion in that one.
Well, I mean,
sometimes I'm almost like, what the fuck? I might as well just go all in on this. No,
well,
it doesn't like affect me.
I think it's fine going big on a dog. I think it's just like you need to like actually make sure there's value there. Like I thought Moicano should be a favorite, but like when you're talking about plus 120, it's a big difference. But I think he should be a favorite, and he's plus 220 and plus 120. So it's like
I agree.
Yeah,
I played him like right before the fight started. I was like, well, fuck. I was going back and forth all week. I was like, yeah, fuck. The grappling edge, it's like, come on, man. Like you almost have to like fucking plan there. And then he comes out and he shows like,
dude,
he's just like too willing to engage in the pocket, which doesn't make sense because at distance he was just able. He could just jab him, so it didn't really make sense because he was leaning clean on the jabs, and like Fiziev was like his facial reactions weren't like the best, and then he just went full fucking.
Yeah, but I mean, you could see it, though. Kind of like making faces at him, like he wants to like trade with him in the pocket.
Right,
it's like, what
dumb as fuck.
Doing, dude?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, and then last, just wanted to touch on the main event. It's funny because like the night of, I was like, all you fucking dumb cunts who don't think Moreno is value can get fucked. And then I rewatched it the next morning. I have no issue with the draw scorecard, but I kind of like on rewatch seeing like Figueiredo's cardio and just like the power difference. I actually do think he probably wins that near 3 out of 4, to be honest. It's just like Moreno doesn't really have that knockout power. And if he's not going to commit to a grapple heavy game plan, it's hard for me to say that he wins that more than 1 in 4 times, like he took serious damage.
Yeah, he has to. He has to grapple to look favorite. I mean, I think me personally, I think if he approaches it correctly and he grapples, he covers like 45-50% range. Personally, from what I can see, what I saw, I mean, Big wasn't. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I think he covered it.
I'm with you. I mean, he was getting takedowns. It's just like, but it's just again rewatching it. It's like very easy to say, "Oh, there's a draw, so it must be value." When in reality, if you're counting, like even if Fig's value, he's gonna lose once in a while. So it's like,
I agree. I don't think that there was much value on it. I mean, I think whatever. But I do think I'll play Cody versus him.
Yeah, well, I think that's the more interesting fight because you did see some holes in Fig's boxing. Now, if Cody did,
there's nobody else at 125 that I want to see face him. Like, what's Askarov? He's probably next in line, and Askarov's going to get torched. I mean, he got hit hard as fuck by Moreno. Moreno basically put him out on his feet. And same thing versus Tim Elliott was fucking unconscious and took a round. So, I mean, it's not happening. It's not happening. Cody can at least make Fig, like, pay for his mistakes that he makes. Like, his openings, Cody's going to capitalize, and Cody hits fucking harder than Figgy.
No, yeah. I mean, I think there's a chance that Cody could just KO him. Like, Moreno landed clean a bunch of times on shots that if Cody lands, he's probably putting him out. But with that said, if it turns into we're going to trade bombs and find out who's more durable, I mean, I'm pretty confident Moreno is more durable and Cody probably is similar or more power. But, like, I still would favor Moreno there. But plus 200, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I kind of think Fig's gonna, unless they bring back some of the guys they cut, like I don't think Fig's gonna lose for a long time.
Yeah, I'm less on the Cody's like glass chin train than like pretty much anybody. If you rewatch those fights, like TJ hits him in the back of the ear, like you're fucking getting knocked out. To the back of the ear, like pretty much anyone's getting knocked down. There's a large sample size of this happening. The Munoz fight versus Pedro. Fucking Pedro's maybe like three people in the UFC that could take the damage that happened in that exchange. Like literally, who the fuck eats 3 flying knees, 6 overhands?
It's true.
Like there's really nobody that's gonna do that. And like Fig doesn't really have a grappling path there or anything. Like Cody's fucking not getting taken down. None of that's happening. Cody has quicker hands.
I mean, if Cody says, I'm going to stay on the outside and stick and move, I actually think can be very competitive here. I just like, he got knocked out as an amateur too, though. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus 200, I might take a stab. But yeah, I don't, unless like they bring back like Dustin Ortiz tomorrow or like Cejudo or DJ, like I don't really see anybody at flyweight who's going to be competitive. Maybe
Paiva. I'm so anti Cejudo, but I would definitely play him here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like maybe Paiva could if Paiva's turns out to be super durable and like he's a big guy, like big and like bigger than Fig is. Like I don't know. I'm grasping to be honest.
I'd play Borg. I'd play Borg.
I'd play Borg just because Borg is a damn good wrestler who will do nothing but wrestle. So
100%. Goddamn right.
So anyway, let's jump into this. We'll move to the main when Gugabe gets on. If Gugabe gets on, I'm assuming he is though. But first fight of the night, Jimmy Flick, Cody Durden. Got any opinions?
Not really. Can he keep it standing? If he does, Flick's kind of a flake on the feet. But grappling, I think there's just, I mean, if it does hit the mat, there's going to be enough sequences where Flick probably makes you sweat and probably covers. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I have. So, like, I had played him when it was first booked plus 200. And, like, for whatever reason, Bet365 didn't cancel my bet. So I still have that. I wouldn't be particularly eager to play the current line at, like, plus 135. But, yeah, I actually do think he's the better wrestler by a considerable margin here. Like, I don't think it's very likely Flick's going to get him down more than a couple times over the course of this fight. So it's really, to me, like, can Flick sub him with 1 or 2 takedowns? And if not, he probably gets knocked out or loses a range fight. But, again, like, I do think Flick's grappling is on a much different level if he gets it to the mat. So, like, plus 135, not that interesting. Lag just posted it. Durden 1-2 plus 420. Lag sitting at dinner with his family with his phone under the table right now. But, yeah, I mean, I lean Durden. I don't think there's a lot of value right now. Move on. Next fight of the evening. We got Tufan and Chukwi taking on Jamie Pickett. You got a lead here, see?
Yeah, I don't really have like a strong opinion. I think Tufan, he's fine. He just kind of takes him a little bit to get going. Versus that Alaskan dude, it was like took him a while to just kind of turn the motor on. Pickett seems kind of like a little fragile, but I don't know. Maybe he could get grappling going. Maybe he could get some grappling going. But whatever. I mean, I don't think there's like value minus 350 in this spot on Tefon. Yeah. But yeah, I don't hate it. You know, if you're playing Pickett, honestly, I would probably just play the over. That would be my preference. I think Tefon starts slow enough where the over is probably okay.
Yeah, I actually played Pickett plus 250 for a half unit. Like beyond like the actual stylistic matchup, like Tefon's got 4 fights, one of which was just a quick 2-minute KO against William Knight, which cool. I mean, it's William Knight, but also it's 2 minutes. Like I don't really care. Second one, the contenders fight was against a guy who was 2 weight classes lower than him, and Matavao was landing like pretty clean. And beyond that, it's Tefon's got 4 professional fights. Like this is not a guy with a seasoned veteran with experience. He's got 4 fights, and he's beaten pretty much 2 cans, randomly knocked out William Knight, and beat a guy who's 2 weight classes lower than him. So it's like, I think he looks good, but Pickett's bigger here. I think he's a lot faster. Like you touched on it a bit. Tefon's pretty slow. And like, I could easily just see him kind of keeping Tefon on the outside of his kicks and his jab for 15 minutes. So I don't know. Like for me, it's like Pickett's got 15 fights, Tefon's 4. Like I just kind of trust the experience. He's fought real competition. Tefon really hasn't. I'm more mean. I'm more mean. Like when you're talking about 2.5-minute KOs, that's like how it's not really a super repeatable outcome, and also it's like not really something likely in this particular fight. But yeah, I mean, either way, my point is like you have a speed edge for Pickett here, and you know Tefon could just be way better. But I think in general, long term, fading guys with 4 fights or less than 10 fights in the UFC against guys with 15 fights is probably a plus EV move. Only a small play for me. I have a half unit on it, plus 250. But yeah, I do think Pickett's a decent striker. He's not bad. He just can't grapple. But Tefon's not going to come out and be diving at legs. So in a kickboxing match, should he be in his 5th pro fight minus 300 here? I don't personally think so. And we move on. We got Draco Rodriguez, Amin Zahabi. You got anything here?
I honestly didn't look into Zahabi much yet, but my opinion on Draco is kind of just that he's a little bit fraudulent. I've watched some of his boxing. I don't know. I'm not really like super impressed by him. I mean, he's faced like one decent fighter and whatever. I think he's had like 20 fights between amateur and pro. Gravely just fucking wrecked him. But granted, that's a hard matchup. I mean, he's got a tight squeeze. I just think in general he's a little bit overrated. Or I don't know, what is his base? Like, is he a grappler or what? People talk about his boxing, but I've watched some boxing. I'm not impressed like at all. I've fucking watched the 2 boxing bouts he's had, or fucking first fucking a random dude in Iowa, and it's like what?
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, I would say, I mean, at least based on tape, that his base is jiu-jitsu. I actually bet Zahabi. Small bet, played a unit on it, plus 168. Pretty much think, like, to your point, I don't really know what to make out of Draco. He's had 1 fight against a real opponent, and that guy dumpstered him in Tony Gravely, which I think Tony Gravely is way better than Amin Zahabi, so, whatever. But it's just like his striking defense is pretty shit from what we've seen. And in terms of his grappling, he's not much of a wrestler. He's very easy to take down. And on top, he's very submission over position. He's like a homeless man dressed in rags version of Ilia Topuria. He just – and like Zahabi's a pretty good grappler. Like I'm like pretty confident that he's not going to get submitted by Draco here. And so it's like Zahabi had close fights with Vince Morales and – would have beaten Ricardo Ramos if he didn't get hit with like the spinning elbow from hell. So it's like, I know he can be inactive at times, but he's certainly the more technically sound boxer. He's, I think, the better grappler, if not the better submission grappler, but I think he can land takedowns here. Like, I'm not like overly confident in him, but again, it's like Zahabi's got 3 UFC fights, 2 of which were against, I was talking to Gugabe about this earlier in the week, but Morales can't check kicks, But as a boxer, Morales is a pretty damn good boxer. It's not like he's not someone you're just going to walk through. So, I mean, pretty good competition. And Ramos, a lot of people are pretty high on. Whereas we have Draco, who's fought literally nobody. Basically, when he got the contract after getting clipped and then getting a random triangle. I'm pretty confident that doesn't happen here. And I actually think if he does try something like that here, there's a fairly decent chance he's going to end up with Zahabi in top control.
Is Zahabi related to
for us?
Yeah, for us.
Yeah, his brother.
It's what?
His brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Youngest brother. But, like, I'm not, like, look, if I was talking to John Martian earlier, I was like, I could see Zahabi Gugabe just messaged me. I'll join soon.
Martian, one of the non-math believers. If you're listening.
I was talking to him, and, like, my view was basically you could talk me into Draco looking minus 200 if he's better than what he's shown regionally, or you could talk me into him looking plus 200. It's one of those things where, yeah, like Tajik just said, Zahabi has close fights. It's hard for me to see this being past evens, at least until we have more data on Draco. So I'm a little grab. What's up? And next up, I think you're going to take the wheels on this one. We got Antonio Arroyo, Duran Win.
Yeah, boy. Win, huh? The meth head. He's like 5'6", cannot make 185 pounds, and he cannot get on a Ferris wheel at Six Flags, which is all remarkable and all true statements. Anyway, yeah, I think Arroyo, I mean, I played him. I capped him at like a pretty high number. I don't even really want to say because whatever. Knockout, I'm on. Like, my thing with Win is that, like, one, he's not really – one, he shouldn't be fighting at this weight class. He's just, there's too many physical disadvantages. Yeah. Two, I mean, he's basically just an empty takedown. He legitimately doesn't do anything. You could just stand up. Stewart literally just stood up, and there's nothing he can do. He can't fucking put hooks in. He doesn't go for submissions. Doesn't really have fucking ground and pound. So it's like, okay, sure, you could like get the takedown and then like you're just gonna stand back up. And like in Arroyo's case, like, you know, he didn't look the best versus Muniz, but like Muniz is like pretty like legit grappler in terms of jiu-jitsu. So he's got more to worry about. And Arroyo kicks hard as fuck. And if you watch the GM3 fight, Wynn's constantly getting hurt with body kicks, and now he's facing someone who's a much, much harder kicker. And you know, there's like a 8 or 9 inch height advantage. So I kind of just think that Wynn's like too fragile and doesn't he doesn't really like have the tools to make this like a fight where I'm like super concerned. I mean, I get it. He could catch a kick and grind some top time, but I think Arroyo is just going to stand up and fucking demolish him on the feet. I don't really think it's close at all on the feet, and Arroyo just standing up is like I think plus 700 on a knockout is way too like wide on the Arroyo side. Like it needs to be much tighter. I honestly think it's like 60 to 70% of Arroyo's win condition is knocking out Win, and it's going to happen at a pretty good clip. I think like ends by knockout is something that probably happens at like a 55% clip in this fight.
Yeah, fair. Everybody welcome Gugabe to the show. Gugabe, thank you for joining us. Do you have opinion on Antonio Arroyo, Duran Win?
Yeah, KO is definitely probably a good spot. Arroyo sub's getting strangely mispriced there. Like, Arroyo is not a great grappler. Win seems durable, so maybe he tends to a stupid club sub. But yeah, I do agree with like that plus 700, even plus 500 is still pretty solid. Win's defensively liable, will get hit in the face. Like, I mean, remember that Spicely versus Win fight where they just kind of threw at each other for fucking 15 minutes? Yeah.
Where is the win from that Spicely fight? I bet him against GM3 hoping to get that. But it didn't happen.
Yeah. Like, Win's aggressive. Yeah, a good chance Arroyo for kicks him in the head. And like, and I can't trust Win to actually wrestle for that much time. Again, Arroyo's bottom game is kind of shit, so... Yeah, if anything, like not Arroyo subs probably value. It's not like he's that good a grappler, but I'm sure he'll club sub just to annoy you.
What book can you get that on, Goo?
Sorry?
What book can you get Matt Arroyo sub?
I mean, 5 times still posting it. Again, I'm waiting till closer to the actual event to be able to get that exchange too. See how it goes.
It would be nice to be able to get that 5 times in the States still. But all right, do you have enough time to go through? So we're on like fight 6 here, or do you want to just move to the main card right now?
I'm easy to go. So if I can go.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
30
sure,
minutes to go?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we will jump. Let's just jump to the main card. And then we'll go backwards. Where we need to. Anthony Pettis, Alex Morono. What's your take, Gugabe?
Morono should be busier. Again, it's a big step down in competition for Pettis, but like, I like Morono a lot. I just wish he didn't have the body of a 12-year-old boy. It's just like Morono's busy, he boxes well, defensively an issue. Like, I'm kind of worried Pettis just comes out and actually might wrestle him just because Morono's takedown defense is so poor. And like Pettis could hypothetically do that. But again, like Morono at plus 180 is tempting just because he should win minutes. But yeah, Pettis might be due to do something stupid. Like, yeah, Pettis looked better against Cerrone than he has lately. But even then, I still felt Cerrone won that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he won it pretty clearly, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I have like weird feelings about it. Like every part of like my bone in my body thinks Morono is going to win minutes here, but like the decrease in competition for Pettis is like substantial. It's like kind of a common theme on this card. Like this is probably the worst opponent he's faced in, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And, you know, to top it off, Morono's kind of chinny. Like I hate Pettis' game mostly, but like the one thing he is semi-reliable to do is finish. Like he is pretty dynamic. I actually took like small piece of Pettis plus 340 and Morono decision plus 340. And obviously Morono could finish Pettis, and maybe I'll take round 3 there. But yeah, I mean, it's a weird fight for me. I'm a little nervous about, you know, just the degree and competition drop this is for Pettis. See, what do you think here?
Yeah, I don't have too strong of an opinion. Morono should be a little bit more busier, not really playing Pettis at minus 2xx ever. But yeah, the more thing that I'm interested in is how Morono looks. If he looks good, I might jump on the Neal bandwagon because I do kind of believe that performances are correlated when they're from the same team.
Also, like he's a big enough dog. I think there'll be opportunity in live betting. Like it's like Morono's going to come out and shellac him, so it's like you get a minute or two, probably same price or similar enough. And also my consideration is like, is Morono really that much worse than current Nate Diaz? Like Nate Diaz versus Pettis was sad.
I mean, the durability, I guess, is the big concern there, though. No, like I mean, Nate Diaz can get hit with the sledgehammer and won't move.
Yeah, but like Morono's been stopped by Chaos Williams, who destroys Nate Diaz, and yeah,
that's fair. What did you say? Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, I don't mind a stab at Morono. I was kind of hoping maybe to go past plus 200, and I could take it there. It's on the money line. Next fight, another kind of similar fight. Any opinion here, Gugabe? We got Tybura and Greg Hardy.
Yeah, shit show. Tybura is tempting because like how good's Hardy off his back. Tybura's cardio looked improved against Rothwell. Like I think Hardy's a bit KO1 reliant here to be that big a favorite, and like I like Tybura's sub a little bit. Like, I got on like plus 700. Like it's kind of a gut feel thing, but again, can he grapple?
Yeah,
defensively.
That's kind of the big question. Like I was going to play Hardy, but like I really just couldn't find any tape really of him having to grapple against a decent grappler. So it's like I feel like there's a chance that like Tybura looks hindsight minus 300. There's also a chance that Hardy can stuff the takedowns no problem. He's just way stronger and more athletic, which we know he is, and just destroys him standing. And also looks minus 300.
Even standing, I don't think Tybura is fucked standing. Like my view is that if this ends up being a kickboxing match, Tybura probably like small underdog, and if it ends up being grappling, Tybura a massive favorite probably.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Tybura looked fine against Rothwell on the feet. I guess it's just more the concern with the speed and the power coming back from Hardy for me.
Yeah, but the Tybura puts up output. Like I think Tybura, we've all got that Surreal fight in the mind where he looked like he was drugged. But he's looked good ever since then. Like even like in hindsight, I think Tybura Sakai. Like I know some people were acting like Sakai was a hindsight lock, but after seeing Tybura Rothwell, I think that fight was actually that Tybura. I would actually be favouring the Tybura and the Sakai rematch. I don't know. We've lost.
Hardy already shut down the special needs Olympics wrestle team with Juan Adams. Amazing.
I don't know what just happened to me. But yeah, so I don't know. Did you take up stab at it, Goog?
Sorry? Not yet.
Did you?
Yeah, wait.
See, have you any opinion here?
Yeah, I played Tibera. I think now he's like plus something, right? I think I got like minus 110 or something earlier in the week. But yeah, there's enough question marks on the Hardy side where I just don't think you could really make him a favorite. And I kind of just don't really. I guess I'm less like on the Hardy train as I was a few fights ago. I've kind of just middled it out. Like he's okay. I just don't think like power wise. One, I don't really know that he really has huge power. I mean, he definitely has a speed advantage, but yeah, I mean, Tibera, it could just be one takedown and round over. So that's like there's more just cases where Tibera looks 70% range than there is cases where Hardy does. So just kind of my general opinion on there. Plus, Hardy looked like he was tired as fuck for a screen after that first round. Right? I mean, he was got a fucking inhaler and went life and death with Sisoli. So whatever. I don't know. Take it.
Yeah, I mean, I might play it. Like, it looks like money's still coming in on Hardy, which is pretty odd. Like, I don't really understand laying juice with him pretty much against any top 15 heavyweight until we actually see him win.
Yeah, he played in the NFL. He's big.
Yeah,
he's kind of quick.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I'd probably take Rothwell over Hardy at Evans.
Don't hate it.
Like Rothwell, historically, incredibly durable. If nothing else.
I mean, Hardy's still kind of an unknown, really, too, right? Like, he hasn't really, I guess, I mean, does he have a better win than Maurice Green? Like, I guess Adams, that was over in 45 seconds, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
But we move on. This is an interesting fight. We got Jillian Robertson, Tyler Santos. See, do you have any opinion here?
I have a little bit on the under, just because I could see both sides finishing. I don't really think Jillian reacts well. I basically kind of just think if Jillian's getting shut down, Santos knockout, because Jillian does not react well at all to absorbing getting hit in the face. And I don't really like the way she closes distance, but she does, she's good to attempt takedowns. So I don't really, have any problem with, playing her. I kind of think she's the side, but I just prefer the under.
Gugabe?
Yeah, about the same. Took some early under at plus 180, I think. That's come down nicely. Yeah, both can finish. Robertson's kind of fragile standing. She gets stuck there. Santos not great off her back. I think people are being a bit stupid. Like, Santos is getting a lot of shiny new toy credit. Like, Robertson has issues of being a fucking bad athlete and all that and fragile, but, like, she is very driven. She has a very clear process. She does something that I don't think Santos will deal with well. And, yeah, I think there's a lot of upside in Robertson money line, too. And Robertson 90 day.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm looking at the under as well. It's kind of weird because, like, Santos did not look good against Mara Borella, who's probably the worst fighter, or one of the worst fighters in the division, then looked like a world beater against McCann, except, like, how good is Molly McCann? Like, we saw what Robertson did to her, like, not to MMA math it, but, like, I kind of think people, myself included, to be honest, dramatically overrated McCann going into that fight just because she had some nifty metrics against really, really shit competition. I mean, Priscilla Cachoeira and Ariane Lipsky, it doesn't really get more bottom of the barrel than that. And so, I mean, Santos looked great against her, but, like, I'm inclined to think her performance, I mean, maybe to be fair, is in the middle of the McCann fight and the Borella fight, but skews more towards Borella. Like, I kind of lean Robertson. It's just, I don't know. Like you say, I mean, she's got some athlete issues, and she's also, like, that Barber fight. She basically just kind of quit on that fight when the takedown didn't come, and it's just, I don't know, always in the back of my head with her, if the takedowns don't come easy, what's going to happen? But in fairness to her, she will do whatever she can to enhance her, to give herself the best chance to win. Like, she's got to come out and attempt 7-8 takedowns. You don't have to worry about her doing like a De La Rosa against Viviane Araujo and deciding randomly to trade a distance with her for 4 minutes while her leg gets kicked apart. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the under. I might take a piece of Robertson. I'm kind of hoping she moves to a dog, but we'll see. Next fight is a banger. We got Marlon Moraes, Rob Font. See, I know you have a bet here. What do you got?
Yeah, kind of I guess on the unpopular side, but I played Marlin. Played some round 1 variants with Marlin. I have some round 3 with Font just because, but yeah, I think Marlin has the tools to just kind of slow down Font and kind of intercept his whole game. Inside leg kick, I mean, he still throws it pretty viciously. The head kick's there. Maeda had some success with it. He comes over the top with those big overhands, so I think he could kind of just disrupt Font's lead jab. But I don't have problems with like people playing Fonts. I get it. Throws volume, comes forward. Marlin could cardio death, but yeah, I just think it's not as easy to really pick off Marlin like that. Even the Cody Sandhagen fight, like I bet Sandhagen like pretty significantly there, and I rewatched it the other day. And Marlin's like first round, I honestly thought he did a little bit. Like I thought he did better than like I remember watching live. Obviously live, I thought Cody Sandhagen was kicking his ass because I bet on him. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, okay, Marlin looked okay there. Looked all right versus Aldo. So yeah.
Gugabe?
I just took the under early, like plus 137. My view is you got two yoked strikers at bantamweight who are going to throw bombs at each other. And I think and like Moraes obviously has the cardio downside too, which I think if Font just exists in his direction for 15 minutes, good chance we'll go down that way. I'll probably live bet Font after a round or two. And I'll probably say I've took some Font like round 3. 365 is often plus 2200. It's like, yeah, fuck it, round 3 against Moraes, round 3 at plus 2200, you have to. But yeah, just under pre-fight, probably Font live bet at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a bet here. Under's nice. Like I more or less think though, like I kind of felt the same way that I was almost certainly going to bet Font, and then like I don't know. You go back and watch the Sun South fight, which is the last time he took a step up in competition, and that was ugly. It wasn't just that he got grappled. Like at distance, he just looked bad, and like Sun South's a hard guy to look good against, but I mean, he only landed like 20% of I think he was like 20 for 132 on head strikes or something like that. I mean, which for a guy who's a boxer base, that's kind of worrisome. And then even his last fight, like I appreciate Font's boxing, how crisp it is. I appreciate the power. I appreciate the output. But you look at his fight with Simon, and look, he outstruck Simon over the 15 minutes. But Simon had serious success standing against Font at times. He hurt Font on the feet, and like Simon was losing the stand up to Ray Borg for a good amount of their fight. Like, again, I don't want to MMA math it, but that happened, and it's like I don't know. Font's defensive tendencies are concerning to me, despite having that size and reach. I don't think he does a very good job using it. Like I think Marlon can get into range pretty easily, and I think Font's there to be hit. So it's like, do I want to play Marlon minus 140? Not particularly, but I also don't really think like there's a ton of value on Font. I think Marlon 60-65% is right. I think the under is nice. Round 3 is nice because yeah, like you said, if Font does come forward and pressure him, Marlon probably breaks. But again, like I'm not even sure Font's reliable to really do that. So I don't know. It's a weird fight, but I'm leaning Moraes. And yep, sorry, I didn't. Alex?
Also, like my issue is also like the under 2.5. It will end up being like a Sun South Font where like that had like 4 near finishes, and the under was like plus 240. That was fucked.
Yeah, that is good. Font, he's been hurt. He's been wobbled a couple times, so I don't think he's like ultra.
Yeah, I'm happy to just play Font unders. He's high volume. He's not that tough himself, and he'll come for you.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to bring out the sequences to finish one way or the other. So,
and so is Moraes, mate. Really, I mean, he's going to do nothing but look to finish in that fight from like pretty much minute 1. So, and coming off a finish. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, it's a fun fight. I just kind of think the level difference here is going to be pretty evident, like pretty early on, and then maybe Moraes slows down if Font takes over. But yeah, Moraes is my lean. We got Michelle Pereira taking on Chaos Williams next. Chaos Williams, the one true prospect in the UFC right now. What do you got here, Gugabe?
I'm expecting Chaos Williams to win this by a 2-minute KO, and I expect him to back up 10 minutes later and fight Wonderboy and win by a 2-minute KO. Then he fights Jeff Neal. and wins by 90-second submission. And then he beats Aldo by decision. That's my prediction. But yeah, Michel Pereira might be a meme, but he's actually like competent MMA. Actually, he's dog on bowl. That's unusual. I don't know. Williams has just done stuff which market overvalues. He's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that he's still the guy who was in the regionals.
Right. Well, right. That's kind of like the big thing, right? Like I bet Pereira. I bet him at minus 130 like a week and a half ago, and then the line kept dropping, and I bet him again at minus 118. I just like Williams' regional tape is pretty bad. Like I think he's a decent athlete, and he obviously hits hard, but he can't grapple very much. You know, his boxing is pretty whatever. He's very hittable, but suddenly he goes from being plus 350 against Alex Morono 10 months ago to now he's basically even money with Michel Pereira. And like, yeah, Pereira does do meme shit, but like, I don't know, watching the Imadaev fight live, my reaction was, wow, Imadaev did nothing and gave that fight away. But kind of on rewatch, Pereira actually did a really good job keeping distance, like setting traps. Like he was really never there to be hit. Like Imadaev would come in, he'd basically get jabbed and he'd be out of there. And like, for as much stupid shit as Imadaev does, he's not really the guy who like goes in there ever and just like, okay, I'm willing to trade bomb for bomb and see who drops. And like, if he comes out and approaches this the same way he did the Imadaev fight, I think he's going to win this pretty cleanly. You know, his cardio's looked a lot cleaner the last couple of fights. I think he's just – I honestly think he's better everywhere. Like, could Williams – he's a young guy. Could he have leveled up and like just now covers this? Sure, but like – I mean, that would be a lot of leveling up to do in a year, in my opinion. C, what do you think?
Yeah, I also got somewhat of a shitty line there. We were messaging back and forth a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, Pereira minus like 130, 135. I was like, I'm going to take it. He's going to probably close like minus 225, minus 250. But that's not the case, so I've just kind of been adding here and there. But yeah, I mean, look, Chaos has had like maybe a total of 10 strikes since like this regional tape. So it's like, what? Like, how do you even know what improvements he's made? Whereas Pereira, like, yeah, he does some meme shit, but he's actually got like a decent skill set. And I kind of think he's approaching things less meme after losing to Conley or whatever. I'm sure he kind of is approaching things a little bit more logically when you start losing money. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's more of a reason Pereira should be like a decent favorite here than Chaos should be evens. There's just not enough information to know, you know, what improvements has Williams made.
Yeah, agreed. And like, I do think Williams hits hard. Like, obviously, you know, he one punched Alsan, but like Alsan had weight issues each of the last two fights. The guy's been on forever. I mean, who knows what difference that made? But like, you look back at like his regional career against like not great guys. You know, he went to a decision in 2019 with a dude who was 17-19 and 19. Another decision in 2019 with a dude who was 7-7. Like, he's got a fair amount of knockouts, but it's not just like he's this monster like Francis Ngannou regionally who's just deading everybody he fights. Like, he's got power, but I'm not even sure he has better power than Pereira does, if I'm being honest. So, yeah. So that's my take there.
Also, it's kind of like my view is kind of like with Chaos, it's just like I'm a big believer in the first minute chin thing. Like, I just think in the first minute people go down a lot easier than they do later on. Like, I think we've got enough history of like random first minute KOs, like say DeWodo Henry and that sort of stuff, or like Hernandez Dariush, where someone just bum rushes somebody and does more damage that way. It just seems people just aren't as awake that early in. I think there's more than enough evidence. I'm just like, I just discount any first minute KOs as a rule of thumb.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. And like, you see guys, I just think it takes some time for guys to get into their groove. I mean, you've pointed it out with Cerrone in the past, like notoriously either dies immediately or doesn't die at all. So
yeah, there's a few guys like that.
Yeah. So like, and like in terms of like, I saw someone just comment this. I don't think Pereira is a very easy guy to wrestle, and I don't think Williams' wrestling is particularly impressive. And I also kind of think the couple of times we've seen Pereira get stuck on his back, he's been completely gassed out. And so it's like, he get gassed out here to be sure, but I don't unless that happens, I'm not ready to say, oh, if you put Pereira on the mat, he's not going to get up. So we'll see, though. I mean, I personally think it's hard to put Williams or Pereira under 65% given the available data, but who knows? Maybe Williams has leveled up a lot. Then we get the co-main. This is a fun one. Jose Aldo, Marlon Vera. You got anything, Gugabe?
I took the under pretty small. I just have this feeling that I hope Marlon Vera comes for him because I think Aldo's decent finishing for it. Vera's also a finishing for it. I didn't like Aldo seems vulnerable to the body these days. Like, I'm not sure if it's just something I've noticed or like Jan hurt him badly round one. I feel like he's got that sort of he's weak for the body now, and Vera will go for that. And like I'm just hoping Vera bites some mouthpiece and goes at him because I think that's good for the under pretty much. But yeah, I can see the arguments for Aldo, but the issue is Aldo is fucking old and what shapes he going to be and all that. Like even his featherweight, like recent ones, he had some very up and down performances. But yeah, hopefully good shit show, and yeah, I like the under.
Yeah, I actually I played Aldo small here. Like, to be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that he nearly died in the octagon like 4 months or 5 months ago, I would have played him very big here. Like, I don't know how on any planet people can expect Marlon Vera to win a kickboxing match against Jose Aldo. Like, the fact of the matter is, yeah, the guy is notorious for gassing throughout his career, but it's not usually till towards the end of like the fight. And like if you look, I know there have been guys who have broken him recently, but we're talking about like Max Holloway, Peter Yan, Alex Volkanovski. Vera is nowhere near that level. Like this is literally Aldo's worst opponent since like 2007. Like could he gas out here and get finished late? Sure. But like, I don't think Vera has almost any chance to get grappling success going. I don't think he has any chance to grab one of those stupid triangle or arm triangles from the clinch here. I pretty much think he's going to have to win at range. And like until the last 2 fights, Vera has been notoriously low output. Like, is that suddenly, is he suddenly a new fighter? Like, I'm not really so convinced. And I think it's one thing to get into a war with a guy like Song Yadong, who you're hitting back when he's hitting you, and a very different thing to get into a fight with a guy who, who will trade with you, but who's going to be hitting you a lot harder and a lot cleaner, like over the course of the fight. So, like, to me, I think Aldo wins the first round, like an 85% clip here, to be honest. And like, I don't really think there's much evidence suggesting Aldo's going to gas out in the middle of round 2 and like break here. Could he break down the stretch? Sure. But I mean, Aldo to me minus 145 seems crazy. I also took a bit of the under. See, do you have an opinion here?
I mean, I do like Aldo. Most of my concern is like the life-altering damage he took versus Jan. Like, you don't really know how somebody's gonna respond to that. Although, like, if the Jan fight was 3 rounds, like Aldo's probably like 1, not fighting Chito Vera here, and 2, if he was, he's probably like a pretty significant favorite. He looked fine for a portion of the Jan fight. I mean, his reactions were, he looked fine. I do see, some of the things Gugabe was saying about the body. Chito does work the body. I don't know how, weak Marlon is to the body, or Aldo is to the body. He ate some shots from Marlon in that fight to the body, and I thought he was all right. But, I think Aldo still has all the tools to really just style on Chito here. So, yeah, I'm like debating whether or not, like, it's more of like a debate internally about like the sizing that I want to play on Aldo. It's not really like, like to me, it's like, yeah, Aldo has like a pretty clear path. Chito, yeah, I mean, he's not going to have grappling success here, and like maybe like cardio deathing him is a thing, but I just don't really see it because I don't think that he could just like push that pace and Aldo's just going to accept it, right? I mean, Aldo's not really just going to accept Vera just moving forward. He's going to get hit hard as fuck, and Chito's durable, but yeah, I think Aldo's the side. It's more just like, what do you be conservative here, or like do I want to be a little bit more aggressive, because I think it's like a very good line on Aldo. So it's like back and forth in my head. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I know Chito's famously durable, but like also he hasn't fought anybody who's nearly as precise a counter striker as Aldo is, and he is there to get hit. Like, it's very different from Song Yadong will just wing bombs and someone who's actually going to be hit tagging you on the button like every time you come into the pocket. And he's also pretty open to the body, and you saw Aldo having a lot of success there against Jan. Obviously, go back a couple of years finishing Stevens there. So I don't know. It's an interesting fight, so I'm excited for it. But I honestly think it's fucking bananas that people are like, I think this is a good matchup for Chito Vera. I mean, whatever. We'll see. I don't get it. But we go on. Main event. We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. You got anything here, C?
No, I think I understand why people are playing Wonderboy. You're profitable long term if you're just fading someone's first 5-round, main event. For someone who has a pretty long history of fighting, in main events, 5-round fights. So I definitely see that angle. Definitely see the angle of just Wonderboy being, an elite kickboxer. But I think there's things that Neal does well, I guess, that people maybe don't give him enough credit for. People just are saying, oh, it's just one kick in the Mike Perry fight. Yeah, but Neal's a pretty strong kicker, and he doesn't throw them naked. And that's my biggest thing. He'll end combinations with them. He's got a quick kick. His left hand's cool as fuck. He hits hard. And I think, some of the comparisons were Luque and Neal. And I think the biggest difference between the two is that Luque gave Wonderboy the fight that Wonderboy wanted, just fucking walking forward. Neal's not going to do that. Neal understands range. Or Luque is, I'm not going to say Luque is a brawler, but just walks forward. He's willing to take damage to give damage. He's a good striker. He's a technical striker. I give him that. But, Neal, I don't think is going to give Wonderboy the fight that Luque gave him. I'm kind of just – they're both kind of I have questions on the durability of each of them. Wonderboy has been getting hurt quite a bit lately. Neal, I also have questions about his chin. So I know some people are on, fight ends by knockout or whatever. I think Gugabe played that. While other people played the under. Don't hate it. I just think the line's probably right, but maybe Wonderboy just on experience is 60%. But I don't have a super strong.
What do you got, Gugabe?
I hit ends KO at plus 100 a few days ago. I don't know. I'm probably gonna play Wonderboy. We'll wait to see him live. I have a view that Neal's success will most likely be front loaded if he does have success. And I think there's a decent chance Wonderboy just pulls it out and being a bit more deep and technically. I think Neal was I like Neal's a talent, but just he's got a pretty basic kickboxing game. He does it well, which is quite basic what it is, and he's been against guys who are very, very counterable. He's pretty much had the perfect matchups for a guy of his style.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's Mike Perry will come to you face first, run into your shit. Nico Price will come to you face first, run into your shit. Bilal Muhammad, he kind of ended up running into a shit, and even that was probably his hardest fight. Frank Camacho ran into a shit. And it was if Wonderboy is refusing to actually come at him, it's I suddenly think Jeff Neal's toolkit looks a lot worse. And also I just don't like the 4-7 MMA guys' defense. I just don't seem to have anybody teaching anything resembling defensive striking in that gym.
Yeah, but I agree, and it's also going from. I mean, this seems to be a common theme on this card, but going from fights with Nico Price and Mike Perry to something like Wonderboy, that's a crazy step up, and Wonderboy in particular because his style is so weird, Neal could be the better fighter and have the better long-term prospects, but also has never seen anything like this before and doesn't know what to do. Kind of like the Masvidal fight. I'm not sure Wonderboy is a more skilled fighter than Jorge Masvidal is, but you can see Masvidal was just kind of out of sorts when he fought him. We saw the same thing with Luque, although I do think Wonderboy's a far more skilled striker than Luque is. But, I mean, just generally, kind of to your point, C, I think spots like this, if one guy's never been in a 5-round fight before and is taking this big of a step up and is a favorite, playing the dog is a pretty good spot. I like Neal's like promised like 2, and I actually sort of think, even though I don't expect him to do it at all, his best path would be to wrestle. Like, he wrestled heavy against Nico Price, and I think trying to minimize time at range is probably his best option here, just because I don't think he's going to have an easy time tracking Wonderboy down. And maybe it turns out he can play the counter game with him, but
Wonderboy is also like at an age where like basically his whole game can be gone in the snap of a couple seconds, right? Like in the snap of a finger, like he's reflexes, athleticism, like that's his game. I mean, he keeps his hands down, so like those are things that are quick to go. So it's like you never really know.
Yeah, he's a fast switch fighter at 37. He turns 38 in 2 months, which is an issue. Yeah. Also, I think like Wonder Boys, I think he's historically underrated a bit. Like, you could make an argument he's only lost one. Like, you could even make an argument he hasn't really lost an emphatic fight in his career in the UFC, apart from Matt Brown. Like Anthony Pettis, Miracle Hospital, Darren Till, very controversial. Both the Woodley fights, very controversial. But like, like
just Wonderboy deciding to give Tyron Woodley a present and a couple $100 extra $1,000. It's ridiculous.
He's 38 years old and he's reliant on distance management and tempo. But again, like, even his defense, like, he's not like he's relying on pocket defense. He's relying on distance management, which I think is a bit more sustainable. Like, look at Arlovsky. Like, it's worked for Arlovsky because you can kind of sit on the outside doing slow things, even if you lose some of that speed, just because you've got more space to measure what you're doing, more or less. But obviously, that's heavyweight; it's a bit different. But
yeah, that's a fair point. Because and you remember the narrative basically being around Wonderboy Luque is that it's inevitable Luque is going to come forward and find that chin. But it's like, if your only approach is I'm going to go forward and eventually box him in, when he just doesn't really get boxed in and uses the cage very, very well to get away. I don't know. So like my lean's Wonderboy. I might play him. Like, I kind of want it seems like line's trending Neal's way. Like plus 115, plus 120. Like, I'm almost certainly going to get in. I like the under as well, and I played that for a bit as well.
Yeah. I want to see how Moran. I haven't done any research, but I tend to think like there's a correlation between when fighters are fighting on the card from the same camp. So I'm kind of just curious. If Morona looks like absolute dog shit, like, I will not stab Neal. But if he looks like decent, like I think I will play Neal. It's kind of like something I run with. I don't know why. I just think that there's a level of correlation.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Spann's been imitating Wonderboy in camp for
That is amazing. Spann and Alonzo Metafield. That's too creative.
There we go.
Look, Alonzo Metafield throws 10 strikes around. Wonderboy also throws 10 strikes around. It's the exact same experience.
Who's the other tall black guy there? What's the guy's name?
Kennedy Nazechko or something?
There you go. Yeah. There we go.
They just have Neal eating bombs from heavyweights in camp. That's the strategy.
That honestly would not shock me. No MMA judge. No MMA ref.
So we have 2 other fights that we did not cover after you came on, Gugabe. So we'll bounce back to those now. Carl Robertson.
I'll go head off in a second. I'm just going to say Eubanks up, Eubanks have 1, Eubanks 1-2, free money.
I agree.
Eubanks coming for the title.
That's
I'm going to leave.
Later, Gugabe. Thanks for coming on. Guys, that was Gugabe. Real sharp.
Thanks.
Catch you at Gugabe. Take it easy, man. All right, C. So, here we go. Any opinion on Carl Robertson and Dalcha Lujambula?
No, I don't even understand this. Like, Dalcha. Okay, so Dalcha has like. I'm gonna get into the quantitative modeling that we've seen here, just because it's high on the Discord. It's high on my mind from the Discord. Anyway, Dalcha's like fights the worst fighter at fucking 185 like ever, Townsend, who sucks. And then he's faced arguably like the best light heavyweight. So it's like, what? He landed like 6 strikes, and it's like, okay, like this, like obviously, this is like one of the scenarios where like, okay, all right, maybe math doesn't work. Like maybe the metrics on this one are skewing the model because they don't understand that Townsend sucks ass. Like, okay, I understand it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem like playing Robertson. I wouldn't play Robertson.
Yeah,
I have no opinion. Honestly, my opinion is that you should just not fucking parlay or do anything with this fight and just watch these fucking people go and do their cage fight.
the Dalcha and Kalaya fight, like that might be one of maybe the most impressive 15-minute performance of striking I've ever seen, even though Ankalaev only landed like 40 strikes. Like that was wild.
Some asshole like open Ankalaev like minus 130. Everybody's like, what? Sen, fuck, hold the line.
That's one of those lines that actually hit, unlike the Torres over. Yeah. I mean, I kind of think, I like you said, I don't even know. Like Dalcha could be an okay light heavyweight, and we just don't know. Or he could be as bad as he looked against Ankalaev. Like, I more or less think Roberson is very talented. He's just an idiot and stupidly low volume. Like, that Kopilov fight, I bet him, and, like, that was way closer than that fight needed to be. Like, he was so much more skilled. But he kept him in it just by not throwing strikes. But, like, if Roberson, like, just picks him apart and eventually finishes him or just brutalizes his legs, it won't shock me. And if Dalcha just goes, you know, as Magic would say, if he goes into gorilla mode and just goes and just like basically tackles Roberson or clinches him for 15 minutes, it really wouldn't shock me either. But I just have no read on Dalcha. It's possible he's not UFC level, and it's possible him and Roberson are at the same level. So, yeah, I'm with you, C. Don't play this fight. It's stupid. Just enjoy it. It's going to be meme as fuck. And then we got the main event of the evening, the people's main event.
Main event.
Patty Kanzad, Sajara Eubanks. What do you got, C?
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that I waited a little bit to tape this one. Minus 130 or whatever that was, that would have been nice. I think I got like minus 150. But yeah, Eubanks definitely underrated in this spot. I mean, like the way I see it is like I know Eubanks like dropped a fight to Beth, but like you can't really hold that like against her. Like the thing with Panny is like in order to bet her, you have to think that she's like I don't know 75% on the feet. Like you have to think that she has like almost a 25% edge on the feet to really bet Panny here. And I personally don't. I mean, Eubanks is pretty competitive striking in this spot. I mean, she was competitive with Vera and Avila standing, and she hits hard. She has good metrics, defends strikes well. But the main thing really is like Eubanks is going to attempt takedowns, and Panny looks like shit off her back. Not only does she look like shit, but she gives up her back. And like my biggest thing is like when I see somebody give up their back, like I'm for somebody who could grapple, it's like, dude, it's like a no-brainer that it's like there's a minus 400 path for Eubanks if she takes it. It's like, okay, like you've seen it. Like I've seen Panny give up her back enough, and I've seen her on bottom enough to know that if she's on bottom, she's fucked. And Eubanks is going to go for the takedown. So it's like, how can you come away from that thinking like, okay, betting on Panny is like something like rational at like plus 125? It's like you need like a much bigger number to bet her.
Yeah, I have 3 units on Eubanks that minus 136. I'm like waiting for these. Did FanDuel open that fight yet?
Yeah, plus
they
650
did?
on sub.
I'm going to probably play that. Yeah, like kind of to your point, like I don't – first of all, Eubanks' metrics are pretty damn good. But like
Elite.
Her striking metrics are great. You know, we saw her – you know, Vieira is not the most defensively sound striker, but she's a fairly good offensive striker. And we saw Eubanks pretty much cleanly outstriking her on the feet in that fight, which was interesting. And, you know, we saw the same thing against she didn't really outstrike Avila standing. But, you know, Eubanks has got a chin on her, whereas – look, don't get me wrong. I do think Panny is the better striker here. Much cleaner offensive striking game. But Panny's a bit hittable. And, like, I did pretty deep tape on her regionals just because I was trying to find, you know, something that was telling me I was not seeing what I thought I was seeing in the grappling. But I saw her get dropped, like, 4 times throughout her career. Like, she gets dropped a lot. Like, she can be hit. Like, Sarah Kaufman was lighting her up on the feet, which is – Sarah Kaufman's not a great striker. And – Sarge, like, I do think Sarge hits really hard. Like, she could drop her. But beyond that, to your point, like, Sarge, you know, her wrestling is not the most technique-oriented. It's very strength-oriented, but she's very, very effective at it. And, like, Panty's got good takedown defense. Well, her rating is good, but she defended 6 takedowns against Macy Chiasson, who couldn't take down Lena Landsberg, which I think, you know, speaks for itself. And then, you know, she got taken down and held down by Beth. And then pretty much every other time I've seen her put on her back, she's ended up getting her back taken. And, like, it's really weird. Like, people talk about Eubanks. It's like she gets talked about as this big gasser. It's like, yes, she gassed in the Betch fight. That happened. Since that fight, though, she went 15 super hard minutes with Ladd and was beating the fucking brakes off Ladd in round 3 of that fight. Same thing with Avila, was throwing her around like a sack of potatoes in round 3. And then we just saw her win round 3 against Vieira. Like, she hasn't really shown much cardio issues since that fight. And then, like, in terms of her top game, like, I tried to find some evidence of Panty working up normally, but she tries to throw a bar. She's like all of these people at All-Stars who just don't know what to do when they get put on their back. You know, she tries to throw up these arm bars and whatnot. And inevitably, when her guard gets passed from them, because she just doesn't have very good jiu-jitsu, she just kind of, like, turtles over to her back like Anthony Smith. And, like, I don't think people really appreciate how good Eubanks' top game is. Like, it's probably one of the best 5 to 6 top games in WMMA. Like, this is pretty much 2 takedowns and the fight is over. She's just going to win on the cards. And 1 takedown and she might sub her. Like, this is literally, like, she has a gold medal at the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu World Championships. And this is not like, you know, when people talk about Muay Thai World Champions, like, legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu World Champion. You know, this is just, I don't know. I think it's a mismatch. Like, for Panty to win this fight, kind of your point, C, she's got to not only be 75% on the feet, but she's got to be able to sprawl and brawl consistently. And, you know, Avila is a damn good defensive grappler. And like I said, you know, Eubanks just picked her up and put her on her back. Like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes the thing. Like, people, like, fall in love with someone's, like, you know, let's just say boxing, just because Dustin Poirier is at the top of my head. Another good Discord conversation.
A little inside conversation
for everybody. But, yeah, like, you know, in WMMA, like, it's easy to, like, fall in love with someone, you know, because who can box, just because, like, women, you know, at 115 or whatever the fuck, they just, you know, most of them don't have that good of hands. So, like, Panty, yeah, she has good hands, but, like, I think, like, understanding the edge that you have to have, like, on the feet, like, it has to be, like, very significant to, like, make up for, like, your grappling deficiencies. And, like, you know, even at, like, the current line, like, there's still value on Eubanks. Like, I'd play Eubanks, like, up to, like, minus 225, minus 250, because, like, I just think that there's just, like, this huge edge. Like, it just doesn't really make, like you said, like, 1 takedown, maybe fight ending. Like,
definitely rapid.
Yeah, the chances that it ends the round is, like, honestly, I think it's like 80% chance that if she gets a takedown, like, the round's, like, over.
Yes.
You know?
Well, and then beyond that, though, like, even with 75%, you have to have finishing upside. And to me, like, I'd say the 80-20 Sarge here. Like, it's in my opinion anyway. So
yeah. No, I agree. Also, on FanDuel, they just opened a bunch of stuff. I didn't know that the chat was being serious about Arroyo sub being plus 190. So, yeah, if there is, like, a no Arroyo sub, like, minus 250, honestly, minus 300, I would play it. I'm, like, mind fucked on how that could be, like, a line.
Someone wiki capped it, like they wiki capped the 1.5. There's a bunch of
honestly, somebody might have fucked up the knockout and the sub, because if the knockout was, like, plus 200, I'd understand it, and, like, sub was, like, plus 700, it'd be a lot more reasonable. But
plus 145. So someone must have bet it then, though. What, hasn't that been open for a couple of days? Yeah,
I guess, I don't know. I've just been hitting the knockout line. I just saw it open, so I'm like, yeah, fuck.
But yeah, so are you down to live stream this weekend, C?
Only if we start with the Win Arroyo fight.
All right, I could probably do that. I have to try, dude. I wanted to start from the beginning of this card, but we have to take my dog to dog training, and my wife's insisting I go. So it's at 4 o'clock
on Saturday at night.
4 o'clock.
What time's the card start?
It's supposed to start at 4, but we keep getting these cancellations, so it might not. Who knows? But yeah. I'm down to start before that.
Yeah, that's my main event of the evening. Arroyo.
Tell Magic to join us from Spain.
Huh?
We'll get Magic to join us from Spain. I'm
Yeah.
getting Magic. DM us.
Magic's afraid of coming on the camera. I think there's I don't know, maybe some Spanish gang out there. He might be afraid that Dan from Best Fight Picks is gonna send some hoodlums over there to take him out.
I need Magic. I'll put it this way: if you're still in the comments or not, if you do not come on a live stream, you are coming on for the Connor card. We got you and MMA knockout bets. There's not going to be a debate here. We will actually pay for your presence. $6.
I agree. I honestly, for McGregor Fight Week, I'm willing to fly out Magic to America. I don't know if you've been to America yet, but I'm willing to fly you out, and we will do a mini show with a live boxing ring.
Vegas.
You versus Dan from Best Fight Picks. Whoever wins, I will personally give $20,000 to. Let me know, Magic, if you're in. I'm going to sell tickets. I'm going to stream it. It might be the biggest event in Twitter MMA history.
Capper on Capper violence. I'm here for it. But yeah, Magic, you're coming on for the Connor show. There isn't going to be a negotiation. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. So yeah, we'll be going live this weekend. We'll determine when that is. C's saying it has to be for a royal win. Lag still has family there, so maybe everybody pressure him to get COVID, so they have to leave, so he can be on it too. But yeah, we'll be live this weekend. Maybe we'll get a guest or two. And next week, so obviously we have a nice break after this, but I think we're gonna do an award show next week. We'll all do our awards for 2020. It'll be fun.
Yo, what the fuck? Arroyo round 3 knockout plus 3,700. Win gas is bad. Playing it.
That is not bad. Parlay it up a Sarge round 1 sub.
Let's get it.
All right, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining us. As usual, I'm your host, John Sturgeon, MMA. You can find me on Twitter at MMA Hawks with co-host C at CHanson10. Again, if you guys like the podcast, you enjoy watching it, do us a favor, like the show, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it to help us out. We'll see you guys on Saturday and then next week for an award show. And then we get a nice little break. Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Take it easy.